Good morning, children. A very good morning to you all. Hope you're enjoying your vacations. The extended vacations. Luckily you got it, but unlucky for the country, isn't it? Children, now it's time for studies. Enough of vacation, enough of enjoyment, and enough of entertainment. So pull your socks and get ready for the online classes. I hope listening to this online classes word, you might be enthralled. Yes, children, from today onwards, that is 15th June, you'll have your online classes. But before that, some few words for you, especially for the students. Give a man fish and you feed him for a day. Give a man fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish. Teach a man to fish and you feed him lifetime. It means that if you are helping a person, that moment will be his. It will be fruitful for him. It will be advantageous for him. But if you are teaching him the skill, the art, it will be helpful for him lifetime. Maybe the motto behind this online classes is, we want to make you independent learners. So this independent learning will help you throughout your life. You won't be dependent every time on the elders, the teachers, the parents. You learn by yourself, and this online classes motto is that you'll be learning. Of course, we are there. Will push you, will motivate you, but finally it is you. You will influence yourself and will study by yourself. So children, we'll be dealing with lesson today. The lesson name is the last lesson. Isn't it ironical? The first lesson of today will be the last lesson. The last lesson by Alfonso Duarte. Okay? So CBSE class 12th Flamingo. The last lesson, Alfonso Duarte. Little bit about the writer. French born in Nice, France, 1840 to 1897. See how he is. Alfonso Duarte. Duarte joined army to fight in the France-Prussian War. France's defeat had a profound impact on reflected in his stories. Because of the defeat of France, the impact reflected in the stories. His stories is a collection of Monday tales, and everywhere he used to write about the pathetic condition, the poor condition, the real condition of the people residing in France. So the collection of stories published in 1873 in London and shows the change in France. Alfonso Duarte, once again 1840 to 1897. About the author, we'll be studying in the lesson about the author, background, explanation and summary. Alfonso Duarte's short story, The Last Lesson, is set in the days of the France-Prussian War, and the war started in 1870 to 1871. Germany, that is Prussia, occupied two districts of France, Lorraine and Alsace. These were the two districts, and in these districts, everywhere in the school they wanted to introduce their language. Instead of French, they wanted German language. The people residing over in these two districts, they should speak only Germany. So German language was imposed on the French speaking people of Alsace and Lorraine. The story highlights the dismay and distress of M. Hamel, the teacher who teaches French. Now, the students, the village elders, people were in dismay that tomorrow maybe they won't be learning their language, they won't be listening their language, and that was the chaos among the people. And this is what the story about. It speaks about patriotism also. The theme of the story: patriotism, freedom of language, love for one's mother tongue, importance of education, unfair practice of linguistic chauvinism. Linguistic chauvinism means to have profound respect, pride for one's language. That is what linguistic chauvinism. Unreasonable pride in one's own language, considering others' language as inferior. Characters and places. The character main is Franz, a school student. He is the writer himself. He is narrating the story. Being a small boy, what he has seen, he is narrating the story. M. Hamel, the teacher of French language. Class, some students and elderly villages. Watcher, a blacksmith. Old Hauser, elderly villager. And school, elementary school in Alsace. Elementary means the school till 8th standard. That is called elementary school in Alsace. In short, Franz regrets and realizes for not taking his lessons seriously. M. Hamel realizes that all three, he himself, the children and the parents, are to be blamed for losing respect for the mother tongue. M. Hamel says, always keep close to the mother tongue, to your heart, as it is a key to the prison of slavery. Hamel becomes emotional and writes, Vive la France, means long live France. France remembers the last lesson very well. See children, it is a time of war. Franco-Prussian War, 1870 to 71. The war between Germany and France. See the map also over here. The red which is marked, those are the two districts, Lorraine and Alsace. See towards the right, Germany is there. They have conquered the France portion, that is Alsace and Lorraine. 1870 to 1871. We'll have the main points in short. The story in short. Actually, Franz, the narrator, is narrating the story. Franz started for school very late. He feared a scolding from his teacher, M. Hamel. He had not prepared his grammar lessons, that is participle. There was a big crowd in front of the bulletin board near the town hall. People receive all kinds of news over there. Franz reached his school. He found it unusually quiet because he was late and there was no hustle and bustle seen in the school premises. He went inside the classroom before everybody. He was frightened. Why? Because he did not study the participle, the grammar lessons, and he was fearful about his teacher. The teacher will scold. And Franz did not like grammar class. Instead, he thought of spending the entire day outside in the woods, in the bright sunlight, behind the butterflies. So, he was afraid, he was frightened. But nothing happened like that. M. Hamel very kindly asked him to go to his place quickly and sit. Franz, for seeing such reaction of his teacher, he was surprised. Many villagers were sitting on desk at the back of the class. In the last, M. Hamel broke a shock news to his students. And what was the shocking news? That from tomorrow onwards he won't be coming to school. Tomorrow onwards there won't be any French lessons because Berlin had conquered and they want Germany to introduce German language. All the school of French district of Alsace and Lorraine would teach Germany for. A new teacher would come to teach German. M. Hamel announced that he would leave that school for good and next day. And today he'll be delivering his last lesson in French. Hamel was a transformed person. He did not use his ruler as usual he used to use. When France got mixed up and confused, Hamel regretted that the people of Alsace were quite indifferent to leave their mother tongue French. He called upon his students and the village elders to guard French among, never to forget it. He declared that French was the most beautiful language in the world. He wanted to speak but could not. Emotion choked his throat. He could not speak. With the chalk, he wrote on the blackboard as large as he could write. That was Viva French. It means that long live French. The gesture he had given to the children, instead of turning towards the children, he showed his back and he said, "It's dismiss of the class." And that was the last lesson for the children. Students, see now the description with the picture I'll be telling you. Franz was late for school that morning. Why? Because he did not want to go to school, because he did not study his lessons of participle. And moreover, he used to find it boring. And that is why he was late to school that morning. He was fearful, in dread of scolding from his teacher, M. Hamel. He thought that Hamel sir will scold, will shout, will beat. As usual, that ruler will be there and he'll be beating me. He used to see that picture also. He is being scolded. M. Hamel would ask participles. Mr. Hamel, the teacher will ask participles and this boy will not be able to answer. That fear was there in his mind. He did not know them because he never used to remember the participles, the grammar lessons, because he used to feel it boring. He did not show interest and that is why he was not able to understand. So the things which we don't show interest, we don't learn it easily also, children. Though he thought of spending the day out, instead of going to the school, this child, small Franz, thought of spending his day to school, outside the school. Why? Because outside he could see the withering wind, the stormy wind, the woods, the butterflies, the twittering of the birds, the bright sunlight, and that was tempting him, that was fascinating him, that was attracting him, and he did not want to go to the boring class. But he resisted and hurried for school. Instead of that, though he did not want to go to school, he tried his level best not to go. But somewhere back of his mind he thought, no, it's better to go to school. So keeping away all his temptation, fascination, and attraction, he started for his school. As he was passing through the square, the town hall, there was a bulletin board. Then people were making crowd enough. People were gathered there. There was much noise. Franz was also worried about why the noise was, and he was knowing it, why the crowd was there. Because since last 2 years, there were news, all bad news of the war. People were killed in the warfare. So he was thinking that today also the same will be there, some news will be there, and that is why people were making some noise. Don't go so fast, bub. You will get to catch your school in plenty of time. Somebody behind him spoke. Don't be hurried, child. Why you are so fast? It is enough of time, plenty of time. If you will go late also, you will get time to reach to school, and in plenty of time you will have to go to school. Scene at the school was unusual, children. The scene was unusual. Why it was unusual? Because every time when he used to come to school, there was hustle, bustle, chaos, noise, children running here and there, playing on the ground. But today it was unusual, altogether different. It was altogether different. They were thinking, the class seated and Mr. Hamel moving around his iron ruler under the arms. Thank you. Thank you, children.